You ready? Yeah, let's make something happen. Right back into it. Episode 20. No frills. Right in it. Let's continue where we left off last week. I was on a roll. I want to keep the momentum building. Let's start. Tanie. Tanie. Najtańsze. Tanie jak barszcz. Very important words in Polish, but they don't translate well in English. Okay, because when you go to the supermarket, there's a sign that says najtańsze. In America, where I grew up, we don't put signs najtańsze, cheap, the cheapest, right in the shop. We don't want to be labeling that stuff as the cheapest, okay? It's not a good translation because cheap in English equates to poor quality. All right, so you need to substitute cheap. I'm not saying that you don't know that. Probably most of you do know that, my Polish brothers and sisters. However, you use it and you don't think about it. It's kind of like a thoughtless thing. So try to substitute that with other synonyms or meanings of tanie, like economical, inexpensive, or cost-effective. Usually cost-effective is a little more sophisticated, like something that, along the lines like, I have a great cost-effective method for you renovating your flat. Cost-effective method, okay? But economical or inexpensive item, product, service. So in any context, whether you're shopping in some kind of mall, supermarket, or shop, they have inexpensive items or products or economical prices. That's our substitute because that's just equating to the price being low and not the quality. All right? There we go. Let's keep the momentum building, please. Let's make something happen. The next one is learn and study. Too many of my students say, so what are you doing this weekend, Bartek? I'm going to be learning. Oh, ouch. What are you doing during the winter break, Krzysiek? Oh, I'm learning. I have a big exam next week. We don't learn in English at home. We study, okay? You study to be a doctor. You study at home, and that means you're doing your homework, like exercises for math or science or reading something that you're preparing because you got to be prepared in class, okay? You study at home so you're ready in class, okay? If you go to university, you're studying marketing or you're studying medicine. You study it, okay? We don't say I'm learning unless someone asks you, what are you learning? Then you say, I'm learning this. Or you would say, when talking about the past, oh, when I was in college or when I was in high school, we learned this or we learned about that, okay? That's the context we use learning in English, okay? Uczyć się, be careful with your uczyć się, all right? You can't say I'm learning at home. You're studying at home for school or you study marketing in college, all right? That's a wrap. Next one, receipt. That P is silent, my Polish brothers and sisters, silent. Receipt. It's your rachunek. It's your bill that you get. Receipt, not receipt. All right? The other one, recipe. Recipe. Those are the instructions. Those are the instructions for making your ciasto, okay? Or making your, I don't know, gołąbki. All right? There is a recipe for making your kotlet schabowe. Is there? I don't know, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just imprinted here in your brains, all right? But recipe, receipt. That P is silent, okay? One more word with regards to pronunciation, okay? Akcja. Everybody says action. All my students say action. There is an action. We're raising money for children in the hospital. You know, that big thing that you do every year in the wintertime, okay? Or there's an action at the animal shelter for adopting pets. I'm sorry, it's not an action in English, okay? It's a campaign. Campaign. I know that in Polish you have the word campaign and you use it for very official things like maybe in a political context, but in English we don't say action. We say campaign. There's a campaign for encouraging people or promoting adopting a pet because it's so cold outside, okay? Or every winter we have this campaign that raises money for kids in need in hospitals who are really ill. It's a campaign to raise awareness or to raise funds funds, that's the word, money, okay, for a cause. It's a cause. The campaign raises awareness for a cause, okay? You can run a campaign in your company to raise awareness about a method or approach or a technique in your area of business that you want others to adapt, whether it's your workers or other partners, business partners, okay? That's another thing. When in Polish, when you say business partner, sometimes you're talking about someone you're working with, but they're in a different company. Be careful with that. Because in English, when we say someone is your business partner, that means that you own the business 50-50. If me and Marcin are business partners, it means that we own the restaurant 50-50 together. Something like that, okay? Now, there is a context where businesses are partners, like the Star Alliance with airlines, because they work together and they share their business with each other. That's a little different because it's much bigger. But if we're talking about small businesses and companies, a business partner, okay, someone that you're actually 50-50 on the business, all right? That brings me to 2 more language points, okay? The first one is daj mi. Bartek, daj mi sól. Daj mi tego, ten chleb, daj mi. Daj mi. Polish, very common, daj mi. In English, give me. Even if it's your best friend, we don't say it. We don't say, hey Mike, give me the salt, man. Give me a tissue. Could you please give me? Could you please pass me? Informal, but also acceptable. Could you please pass me the salt? Could you please pass me a tissue if you're sitting together at a table, whether it's at a restaurant or at someone's house? Could you please pass it to me? Because it's visible, you can see it, okay? So watch out with that daj mi, all right? Now, here we go. I'm almost done with you. Urge, recommend, insist, suggest, advise. Powinny. Oh, my pronunciation's horrible, I know. But that's something that Polish people, I never hear you say. My Polish teacher told me once that Polish people don't like using should towards each other. They don't like saying should to each other. I don't know the intricacies involved in your culture, why that is. For me, it's a little bit strange as an English speaker. But in English, as you guys know, we say a lot of should. But you don't have to. If you're using should a lot and you want to mix it up, use other words like suggest, recommend, advise. Those 3 you know quite well. You can mix those up. However, insist and urge might be new to you. Okay, so when you urge somebody to use this service when they want to fix, renovate, or get some kind of service to their business, you urge them. That means you're strongly recommending, you strongly advise. I urge you not to do that. Maybe like parents to teenagers or college kids, I urge you, I strongly advise you not to choose these studies, or not to study there, or not to go there on vacation, or not to go there on holiday. Remember, it's vacation, not holiday, okay? We've talked about this before, all right? And insist is when you're kind of pushy here. So you're a manager, you're a supervisor, you're a team leader, and you insist on people doing things in a certain technique, approach, method, all right? That means that you're kind of forcing them or pushing them to adapt or use this specific technique, okay? So sometimes that might be a little pushy, but it might be necessary, all right? Insist, okay? So I tried to get everything in there that I could. We are out of time for this week. I'm really, really proud of the momentum ESL Trailblazer has been building. Thank you for following. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love to hear your feedback, especially from my Polish viewers out there. What am I missing? Am I making any errors? I need this feedback. I know there's plenty out there. I'm just telling you what I've experienced being a teacher here and living here. All right? I'm Nandis, ESL Trailblazer. Let's make something happen. Keep building that momentum. Spring is around the corner, and get ready for another episode next week. I'm out.